Today we are going to focus on early childhood education. As you know that early childhood education is very important to get the ready to the child so that they can go to the school. And basically I'm going to focus a significance in context to India. What are the significance importance of early childhood education? But before that we need to just understand what is early childhood education. As you know that early childhood education is a branch of education theory that relates to the teaching of children from birth up to a age of 8 years. Traditionally this is up to equivalent of third grade, you can say, whereas in special education also we have early childhood, whereas this early childhood emerged as a special education which is termed as early childhood special education across the India, where literacy rate is only 74.04 percentage, which is increased compared to the previous year. That's why it is very important, to merge this to special education as well. So this is just brief of early childhood education. Let us understand the history of early childhood education in India, and then we will move further. Early childhood education in India is relatively a recent development. It is not a new development, it's a recent development. Throughout the history of India, formal education was limited to only for the male members of higher caste group. If you have practiced, you have read number of time in your history books. And the conscious and the systematic attempt to educate the children for all the section of the society only began in 1937 with the educational philosophy of Gandhiji, that is basic education scheme, which says free and compulsory education at national level across the country. And Maria Montessori, she visited to India in 1939 and laid the foundation of preschool education in India. That time the teachers were also trained with this method so that they can impart the education to the children. Then early childhood education has been constant focus of all major committees, commission. There were a lot of policies after post independent of India. And then let us see the recent trends, okay, which is very important. So the enrollment of women professional in the workforce growing in India. So this was the change after making those committee, then making those policies. So then it was change has been happened. So you can see a lot of women professional like special educators, health workers. There are a lot of things which is had been gained, which related to early childhood. The extended family system is gradually disintegrating. That's right, because the couple, that means the mother father with the child, they move to the city urban area, leaving their father mother at the rural. So in that way what happened, the extended family getting separate, so that child is not getting proper the nurturing from their grandparents. So early childhood enables the caregivers, usually an older girl sibling, to attend the school. See, both basic and educational need of young children with ID can be addressed through early childhood education. So these are the recent trends which has been taken place. Now let us see government agencies support a preschool education in India. So there are a lot of agencies. Let us see few. We are not going to discuss in detail, but we'll have just gist of it. So Balkanji Bari. This is an agency which is established in 1920 by Government of India to provide the education, especially to the children, those who are young. So it was just initiation in the new India. And Children Aid Society, this is also a sector where they provide aid to the children. Then Kasturba Memorial Trust. Then you have Indian Council for Child Welfare. Then you have NCRT. You can see there are a lot of books, curriculum published by NCRT, with the inclusion policy as well, mentioning children with special needs. So there were a lot of agencies. Now let us see other one. What is that? Happy Education Society. You have Children Education Society. Then you have a Children Social Welfare Board. So these are a government and private agencies who are supporting the preschool education in India. So this is very very important to just have a concept, what kind of services the government trying to impart with the outsourcing as well as the from as well as the internal factors. So let us understand the objectives of preschool education. So what are the domains required to develop in children's? Social attitude, healthy habits, you have a personal skills to develop, then good physics. These are all domains which is very very important in to develop in children. Apart from this, you have self expression as well as creativity and motor skills. So these few domains is very very important and play a major role in developing the total personality of the child. So this domain cannot be achieved until unless the child has a cognitive ability as well as a language ability. As you know that without these two main domains, and none of the activities, any activities cannot be taken away or cannot be improved. So that's why this is very very important, because that's why these objectives is very very important in early. Let us see few recent achievement in early childhood education in India. Let us see what are those. Providing a developmentally appropriate education in early years has been developed more than integrating the children with special education need in the regular school. That was a very unique and good initiation by government, combining the Western models of early childhood education so that we can share the best practices and we can indulge with the good experience methods. Encouraging the community participant, that is very very important, because without community participation we cannot think over to move the concept. Then conducting a program evaluation through various methods like case study method, evaluation method, so that we can understand and we can do the further modification of the program. So specially designed committee for program evaluation is also a recent achievement in early childhood education have been implemented. And then implementing the new innovatives and new projects like child to child program or one to one intervention. Then you have a school readiness program or early childhood special education, where you try to make the child ready for the mainstream. And then you have a home based program for student and parent as well, so that the parent can teach their children at the home. So that was the major achievement taken. Now let us understand the significance, the importance of early childhood education in India, which is mentioned as per your syllabus as well. So India has a wealth of tradition practice in early childhood care and education that date back, if you see, around 5000 years ago. They are changing now. It was the change in the social context over the year which laid the foundation for introduction of the concept of early childhood, though it is it got accelerated after post independence. But during our traditional practice, even we used to do the early childhood in a different way till India became independent before 1947. The need of early education, particularly in the form of pre-education, was fulfilled not by the government, by the voluntary agencies and the private institutions, because they were aware few of these conditions, because that time in 1947 there were not no governmental formation at. So voluntary agencies as well as the private agencies come together and taken participation in early childhood education. Then this initiative in India has been documented formally in the later half of 19th century or 20th century. Then value of this education lies in the recognition and acceptation of the vital, developmental need of all the children, including emotional, including intellectual disability. That is, every child has a right for early childhood education. So that's why it is very very important, where you need to understand this. Then you have a national policy of education which has been published in 1986, has given a great importance to these aspects and viewed early childhood education as a as a crucial input and as very, very important part, so that human resources development as a feeder and support the program of early childhood education. And then you have a field of early childhood education has, considerable expanded over the last 30 decades, by, distinguished themselves in between early childhood education, early childhood development, or early childhood care education, and of course, which I have mentioned earlier, early childhood special education. So that's why it became more important, to work for the welfare of young children. Then research have shown that the most crucial year of learning of the child is preschool year, where they develop their brain, where they develop their skills a lot. So that's why it is very important. Early childhood education is very important, because that age is where you nurture the child in the appropriate manner. You stimulate so that they can work in a when they grow up, or they will be getting benefit when they go to the higher level. So that's why early child education is important. And children, when they enter into the preschool life with a significant background of learning experience within their family and outside the home, that's why early childhood must play a major role in developing those skills, so that they can participate in the community as well. So preschool children come to the early setting as active, experienced learner with the natural curiosity. So make sure that the child mind is very soft that day. Sorry, that time. So you need to work with more clarity and with the more, creativity, so that they don't divert their mind with any negativity. Children at early childhood special education tend to learn more rapidly due to interaction with other children, and also come across several learning and play activity. This is very very important. And then you have, early childhood care education is all that the name implies more. That means in early childhood education you need to give more exposure, so that the child can, improve themselves. So it comprises all essential supports. Okay, all essential supports you need to give to that particular, era, or that particular group during early childhood, so that they can survive when they go out, in the community, when they talk to the other. So, so that way early childhood education becomes more important. It is designed to stimulate and support the child. See, early childhood education is designed to develop the motor, cognitive, language, social, emotional, which we have already seen, the domain, various domain what you have developed. Then preschool education centers in India. There are a number of agencies we have already discussed, but this is a few, like nursery school, Shishu Vihar, then Vatikas, Anganwadis, Balwadis, and Montessori school. These are all, initiatives, private and central agencies which are working for the welfare of children with young intellectual disability, which age range around 0 to 6 years. So that's why it becomes very very important, because all these serve children before they enter into the primary school. These all agencies, they serve the children before they enter into the primary school. So that's why it becomes very very important. Early intervention is very very important. So I hope you have understood few concepts about significance of early childhood. Then We will see the next topic in the next session or in the next video. Thank you.